You need to put the academic evidence, what it is that companies really think about the issues and how they are likely to be responding to various incentives. And you need to also bring together some of the policymakers to listen to this. The interesting thing about those panels is that it brings policymakers, academics and also businessmen and women together. Because as policymakers one can just think about how to solve issues like, for example, the high unemployment rate right now, given the recession in Europe and also the problems in the UK, particularly the youth unemployment situation. But in reality you can't really advance any policy on this unless you have the evidence of what actually works on the ground. So you need to really put the two together. You need to put the academic evidence, what it is that companies really think about the issues and how they are likely to be responding to various incentives. And you need to also bring together some of the policymakers to listen to this. And I think that's really why events like the ones we're having right now are absolutely crucial in furthering the thinking in a number of areas, and unemployment happens to be one of the most important and pressing ones right now. Well, the interesting thing about employers in this slowdown that we've seen, the recession and now this sort of very slow recovery, is that they've actually kept people for longer than they used to in the past. If you look at previous recessions and recoveries, what you find is that loads of jobs are just disappearing. So people cut costs as fast as they possibly can. The result is that by the time the recovery starts, they've lost the talent, people have gone elsewhere. In fact, lots of people have actually lost what they've learned over the period they were with that particular company. So rebuilding it is very costly. The interesting thing is that both unions and also employees more generally and businesses have been much more prepared this time around to be more flexible in terms of the hours they worked. Flexibility that was allowed in the system, taking sabbaticals, continuing with some training, and the government in many countries, particularly in the UK, helped in this regard in any case. So what we found is that the sort of understanding across a company has improved quite considerably in terms of how to deal with issues like a recession. So we haven't really lost that talent. So there's been willingness to do things differently. And if we can build on that, and the government can then just help as facilitator to move things along, I think we might be in a much better position in terms of weathering the current storm than would otherwise be the case. But the youth is still a problem that is not easy to solve unless one really moves heavily into apprenticeships, extra training, guaranteeing some sort of jobs that are not paid enough, internships, or anything to get people to start being a bit motivated so they can build the ability to then be properly employed.